Alright, welcome back, and let's draw something that I've never really drawn before, and which is like an open mouth like this. And this is Olivia Rodrigo's images, I guess one of her cosmetic campaigns or something like that from an advertisement. So obviously very pretty face, and there's some interesting elements in this, trying to get maybe the shine of the lip, or maybe even the texture of the tongue, and the shine on the teeth as well. So this should be interesting because the mouth is really dark inside. So let's just try and see where this goes. Let me hold this with one hand. It's a little bit easier holding it actually. Okay, so let's see. Let's draw it about this size here. So pretty decent size. Let's see if I'm just gonna use a 2B, and let's just go ahead and say I'm gonna draw about this big. So there will be quite a bit of shading here. So let's say that's the top. There's a slant here on her mouth. So let's say this is the corner. It's gonna go up to this side. So this is the other corner of the mouth. Okay, so I'm just gonna, so that'll be the slant, and then this side comes down. It's a little bit sharper here. Okay, so it comes down over here. So it's kind of like a football shape, but a little bit skewed, a little bit wider. Okay, so let's just go with that. Again, we're not trying to draw her lip. We just want to draw a lip. So let's see, halfway. This will be her teeth. So here's the upper lip. Teeth's gonna be here. Let's say that's the teeth. Two front teeth going back. This comes down here. Hope you guys can see this. I know I'm sketching pretty light here. I am using a 2B. And then the tongue comes up here. So I'm looking at the halfway point here. So tongue comes right here. It just kind of fades out here. All right. Yeah, I know it'll probably look very strange to me when I'm drawing this because it's something I haven't drawn before. So it might look a little alien. Okay, so let's see. Let's go with the teeth then. All right. Trying to look at it so I don't slant. See, I always tend to slant up this way because of where I'm standing. Okay, so let's say this is one of our teeth, front tooth. This one goes up slightly, and then canine back here, corner. Now I'm refining the shape now. Make sure I got things just a little bit accurate. So we still want to look like a real mouth. Tongue comes out here. Okay, so probably the length. Yes, actually that's pretty close in terms of how wide the opening it is. So the tongue comes out, and then here's the corner. So I'll just erase that. So now I'm seeing all the little differences in the mouth, the shape of the lip. I'm looking at it. Yeah, it looks a little strange. I think the lip's a little bit too small. Tongue goes wider here. So lip, yeah, actually my original line was closer. Okay, so let's just go with this. As long as it's not too far off, it's okay. Okay, so let's, oh shoot, where do I even start on this thing? I can start on the top. You know what, let me draw in the line here for her teeth, just to clean things up, because there is a lot of little things here. Okay, so that's the line, and then here's it's gonna fade in. So this part's gonna be pretty dark. Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. Here, tongue comes up here, comes down. Just need a little bit of cleaner line so I can see what's going on. And then this part here is dark. Then here's the corner of the lip. Okay, so now we got somewhere to go from. Okay, so let's say this is the upper lip. Shading this with a 2B. Could be a little light, but let's just go with it. Loosen up a bit. Let's see. So this part is always weird to me because the lipstick always go over the lip. So it's not the real shape of the lip. So here's the middle. Yeah, okay. Highlight is right here on the top. So this part needs to be darker, and then but there's also like smaller highlights inside that runs around. So all right, let's keep going. Yeah, I don't know where this is gonna go. So darker here. Let's just push it up a notch. Maybe I'll just concentrate on the upper lip right here. So the lower part is darker. As it comes over here, it becomes even darker. In here, there's a little stripe, darker. And then inside here is a little bit darker. And then there's a strip of reflected light all the way around here. So hopefully I can save some of that from the paper white. Because it's the little reflected lighting is gonna, that's what's gonna make the lip shine. Here it's darker. So overall, on this side, so the brightest part is here, and as it recedes back, oh, this is a little bit darker. So we need to get that. So this would be like the overall shading. So this becomes darker here. And by doing that, then we'll get this full shape minus all the details. So we're going from big to small. Yeah, there's quite a lot of shading. Yeah, maybe a 2B might not be the best thing here, but it's okay. Well, let's try just keep building up. You know, again, I don't really know where this is gonna go. It might turn out pretty bad. In that case, I just throw it away, so it's no big deal. Okay, so now that we have the overall shape, let's go ahead and let's try adding some smaller details here. Dark here, I'm seeing darker. Comes down here. This part is sharp. Let's just hit that. Darker line here. Again, as it gets darker as we approach the corners here. So now I'm just pushing up one level, another level. Dark here. Slight reflective lighting on the bottom. And then there's some like smaller texturing detail. That should be kind of fun, but we'll do that. Definitely do that last. Darker here as we push the corners. Very dark here. This is pitch black right here. Darker here because there's no reflective lighting from the tongue. A little tongue tie here. I can't say that word. Reflective. Okay, it starts to feel a little bit better, right? I know it looks very strange. And then let's see the highlight, and then on the top here. Again, this is where the lipstick is drawn. Okay, let's keep going. So let's see, we have that. Let's shading some of the teeth then. I'm just gonna bounce around. Let's come down here. So we know this is gonna be black. I'm wondering why I should use a 6B for that. I think I eventually will, but just let me use my 2B here for now. Never really shade much of teeth before, so this should be interesting. Let's see, looking at this one is darker, right? So the highlights here, the gums right here, and then as it goes back, this tooth right here, I'll make it a little bit darker, and then this one's even darker. And then this one is very dark inside here. So I'm just gonna draw that first. So again, we're looking at the big shapes. Okay, so this is one, just like the lip, highlight in the middle, and then as we curve around, it gets darker and darker. So we can just do that first. Okay, so once you have this, let's push it up another level. Maybe adding some of the gum here, because the gum is pretty dark. It's actually darker than the lip there, isn't it? Yeah, so if you compare the gum to the lip, you know, you can see which one is darker. It looks like it's slightly darker, especially right here, right underneath the lip. And then this tooth here is a little bit darker because of the tongue. Okay, so let's see the shine on the teeth, on the tooth. Sorry, my grammar is very bad. My wife always tells me that, and it's true. You've seen enough of my videos, obviously. Okay, so the highlights here. I don't know if I want to make this tooth dark though, because you know, if you want to exaggerate it, having white teeth is much more attractive. So underneath, we'll make that a little bit darker because, again, the shadow from the lip. Teeth line here is really important to make nice and dark, but again, we can punch that in later with probably with a 6B. Some detail here. This part is a little bit whiter, and then this part is much darker. Okay. Yeah, let's see if I can make a attractive looking mouth, just like in this photo. That will be the challenge. Okay, that looks okay. It's lacking the range. So let's keep going down. Let's draw the tongue, which is gonna be, yeah, I think I've drawn it a little bit too big here. I think it's massive. I'm just looking at it again. Now that I have some of the parts shaded up. Double this. It's actually close. Okay, so let's draw this. I never drawn a tongue before. I think it does look kind of very unattractive at this point. Okay, let's see. I think the glow is what's nice. If we can get the glow, the shine. So I definitely need to maybe come back and you know, use an electric eraser and get some of that, those really white spots left. Okay, so there's a spot here. This is really weird. So there's a ridge that comes all the way down here. So I'm gonna try to draw that. It's like drawing an alien or something. Okay, so it's here's the ridge. Now as it gets in here, it gets darker. So let's say this is the bottom right here. I'm just gonna make that dark and then go from there. This is very dark. This is very dark here. Okay, so I'm trying to remind myself, you know, what the shape is. It's basically this. There's a ridge right here, and then there's two. This is pretty flat, but it does round out a little bit, so it sinks in here. That's the middle of the tongue. And then again, the highlight is here. Now we're looking at the big picture again. Here's the highlight, and then as it comes down here, it gets darker and darker. So let's just give that one shade. Oh, this pencil is like dying. Not only that, the paper is starting to get smoothed out. So that's the thing about when you keep shading with the same you know, surface. When you keep rubbing the same surface area, it will lose its tooth, and then when you come in again, it's very smooth. So this is starting to happen here. So the cure for that is, you know, instead of using a 2B, just use a darker pencil to begin with. But I just want to try this, just see how it goes. Okay, so here is the tongue. So if you look at the tongue, the value of this, it's pretty close to this. So it's actually very dark right here. So you want to be able to just look at an area and compare it to your other area, so that things will become you know, more consistent. Okay, so there's a little bulge here all along the ridge. This part sinks in, and then this is really dark, and we're gonna forget that for now. Detail here. This right here is kind of dark, and just turning my pencil, I'm just pushing in. And we gotta get this highlight right here. So this part, yeah, there's so many little things. So many little gooey things. Kind of have to draw that though, or else you're gonna lose that, you know, the tongue texture. Okay, let's see. Let me change pencil. I think this is probably not gonna work too well if I rub too much of this. So I'm gonna use a 4B now. Let's push this up. I'm just adding some detail. Let's push this in. So Some more bumpiness here. Here. Yeah, the 4B is better now. It's just like it just gets more traction, you know, when you push into this. Actually, it might be kind of fun drawing this. I don't know. Because sometimes you can't tell at the beginning. But if you keep drawing it, you know, things might start looking good and you get into it. Okay, so smaller details here. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here. Let's continue to the lower lip. So we have a fully, you know, completed pass on the drawing. And then we can see what else we need. Okay, so let's see. Highlights right around here. I'll try to keep that. I doubt I'll be able to. Again, I'll come back with an eraser. Okay, so this is lighter right here. So the darkest part, let's see, let's hit that. That's right underneath the highlight. And then it gets pretty dark down here. And a highlight here. So again, the big picture, this part in the middle is lighter. And as it comes over here, it gets a little bit darker. So I can just hit that. Darker here. This is the darkest spot here. Right here. Right here. Highlight here. On the bottom right here is darker. And then the lip down here is dark as well, but it's not as dark as in here. So I'm just gonna draw this. So this should be really done with a darker pencil. Getting a lot of little details. I'm just trying to focus on a bigger area for now. Okay, let me erase some of this so I can see it better where the edge of the lip is. So just clean that up a little bit. Okay, so I guess that's one pass, right? All right, not too bad. So let's go ahead and switch out to a, let's go a 6B. Let's make this dark, and I think that'll be kind of cool. Or even a 10B, and then we'll get the darkest area, then we'll know how dark we get to, you know, shade the rest of the mouth. All right, so I sharpen my pencil, and let's push this up. Let's see, where's my 6B? Okay, this is my 6. So let's push this up. I think this will really help to pop things out once this becomes super dark here. So it's really grainy. With the 6B, you can see it leaves a lot of open areas. So I'm turning my pencil to get a sharp edge right here. here. Yeah, that looks better, right? Just increasing this darkness right here. Just makes things come alive now. Okay, so just be careful it's not one continuous line, because you know there are differences in this, because this little ball just hits the lip a little bit more, so it's a little bit lighter, a little bit sharper, and then some right here is a little bit deeper because there's a bulge right here. It's this variation in the darkness that we see these bulges, so that's why it's important. If you just draw one singular line, then it feels like it's just meeting up this edge with the same kind of form and intersection, so it's not correct. So that's when we lose the structure of what we're drawing. So just be very careful with the straight lines. Okay, so this, let's see, looking at this lip tongue goes in. As it goes in, it gets darker and darker. So it's basically pitch black in here, and then it starts to line up, you know, as it emerges out. So we can even, let's push it even further with a 10B. Get that really dark. Okay, so yeah, obviously this looks a little bit strange. Maybe do I use a 4B here? Help smooth things out a little bit. And if it's too dark or whatever, so let's say like in here, I can just dab certain areas. See, that gives it back some of the, you know, the bumpiness to it. So that works pretty well too. That actually might be a better workflow. Just shade it dark and then just start dabbing things out, you know, instead of trying to, you know, find little highlights and you know, drawing all those little areas. Okay, so let's go on with a 6B. Let's continue with this. Let's see the tongue. So much stuff to the tongue here. I'm just squinting my eyes and trying to see the big areas and just try to create that. So you squint your eyes and everything becomes blurry. Then we can just see the major shapes. Clean that up. Let's see, let's come down to the lip here. Darken here. Yeah, for the little white spots, you can actually, like the hot highlights, you can use paint. I tried it before and I haven't done much of that kind of stuff. You can just use like a watercolor or even just gouache and just dab in like little white spots, and that'll really, you know, bring back the white. Obviously it's just gonna be white. Again, still using a 6B, lots of texturing. Edge here, let's see, runs all the way along. There's a lot of little highlights here. Smaller strokes. Trying to get some of that texturing on the lip here. This almost feels like it used some bounce lighting. Yeah, very tedious. Yeah, it looks a little strange, doesn't it? The lines I'm going here, it needs to go this way, so it really screws up the it's like a contour of the lip here. It should go this way. If it's going this way, then it feels like it's a different form. Okay, so that's what it's important to keep those contour lines. Okay, let's come back up here. Maybe we can push this part a little bit up, a little bit higher, I mean. Higher in terms of detail. Darker here. So again, rounding out here, so I'm pushing a different higher level now. This needs to be darker. Yeah, so much easier on a 6B. But there's a lot of texturing, so that's the thing, right? You know, you can go dark and soft and very fast, but then you're missing a lot of the smaller areas. You know, there's a lot of texturing, and that sometimes, you know, takes away from some of the realism if you're trying to achieve that. You just have to slow down and really fill in those little gaps. I really get a sharper pencil and just, you know, fill it up. Squinting my eyes again. This needs to be darker. This needs to be darker here. Coming back down here. Something is off down here. I don't know why this part bothers me. Maybe because it's so messy right here. Let's clean it up then. Let's draw a cleaner line. And then a highlight down here. Let's bring some of that back. This needs to be darker. This whole tongue on the bottom needs to be darker. Okay, how's that? Let's see, I'm stepping back now. I'm just looking at it from afar. That's not too bad, right? It's missing a lot of the little details. I think if I come in here and sharpen things up, might be kind of cool. Like especially on the teeth, I haven't really done much here. Clean things up. You know, a little bit more refinement here. Especially on the teeth, there's totally missing the shine here. This part is wrong. So whenever, you know, we try to draw realistic stuff, you know, this is how it kind of goes. At least for me, it's a lot of little things, and you just kind of have to, you know, just keep going. And like I'm looking in here, I see all these little things, and you just kind of keep going. And depending on how much you know, realism you want, you can start adding in more and more little details, and eventually, you know, you'll get something nice. Start with the overall shape first, you know, overall form, and try to shade everything, you know, give it you know, like a first coat or whatever you call it, like if you're painting you know, primer. And then, you know, from those big shapes, like here, we know this is darker, this is lighter. And then once you have that, then you come in and say, okay, there's a, you know, dark line that runs all the way across here, so I'm going to draw that. So we just kind of keep going. And then once you have the overall value, now I'm just going back and I'll see these little areas right here and say, okay, this is wrong, you know, this needs to be darker. And then you start to just look at it patch by patch, and you just kind of keep going. Let's see, this looks okay actually. I'm gonna finish this off camera, just clean things up, because it's not very exciting to watch that. You know, doing a little cleanup work on a drawing, like erasing things out and really clean up some of the shapes right here, especially here. This is very messy right here, but I can clean that up, even up here too. Okay, so I'm gonna do that off camera, and hopefully I'll have a, I guess, more realistic lip drawing for you guys. Okay, I'll be right back. Alright, so here is my final drawing for this, and what I've done off camera is pretty much the same as what I did on camera, except that I was a little bit more deliberate and really cleaned up some of the areas with my 2B, 4B, and the 6B right here. And then for the tongue area, the eraser actually worked really well. I just come in and just dab it. I can, you know, create these little bumps, and it's actually very creepy, but that's how it looks. And then for the lip itself, just cleaning up areas, just making sure that, you know, things are consistent, the dark areas, and where the highlights are. And for this one, I didn't use the electric eraser, so I didn't bring back some of the shines. I think it looks okay. I mean, I'm not going for like, you know, hyper realistic. I just kind of want to shade something, and it just kind of turned out this way. It is a little bit realistic, but not too much, right? So I'm just gonna leave it like this. Hope you guys enjoy this little drawing of a mouth and tongue, and I will see you guys next time.